Mike Benz
He's been on this forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Well, former State Department guy. And he uncovered all this while he was there. And he is insanely knowledgeable and insanely articulate and so good at expressing exactly how these things fund things and what it is. And what it is an enormous slush fund.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And unaccountability and money just coming and going and flowing. And it's
circular.
All circular. Donating to the Democrats. The United States government funds them. They donate to the Democratic Party. The whole thing is wild.
It shouldn't be controversial to want to audit our budget.
No.
Americans have wanted this forever.
It's not just the money being spent. It's what it's being spent for and what's going on, which is an enormous propaganda machine.
Yeah.
A big part of the whole left-wing narrative that has overlaid our country over the last 8 years, 10 years is all propaganda funded by our own government. Now they're talking about Social Security.
Yeah.
And that people are receiving Social Security that are 150 years old. But I don't think that is the reality as it's being explained by people who understand COBOL, the language, and this computer programming language that they use is ancient, right? Which is kind of crazy that they're still using that, right?
It's the government. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
So some guy who understands it was explaining that if certain factors aren't taken into consideration or certain things aren't entered in, date of birth or when there's certain things
or date of death, or,
right? But it doesn't even necessarily mean that all these people are receiving checks,
right? They're just listed on the files,
right?
And it doesn't mean money's going out to them. And so, again, from a messaging perspective, does Elon need to screenshot that and then send it out as a tweet or whatever we call X nowadays, and then suddenly you've got a couple million people going, oh my God, we're paying dead people. Well,
right. That's the problem with being hyperbolic. I'm going to send this to you, Jamie, because I was confused myself, and so I was like, what exactly are they saying? Because it seems like the people that understand that programming language are the ones that aren't jumping on board and saying, hey, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Vampires exist amongst us. There's 300-year-old people getting Social Security. That's not what they're saying. The people that actually understand it are saying that's not really the case.
Although how cool would that be if vampires existed among us and we found out the 300-year-old people were making benefits?
That would be crazy. How crazy. So I'll send you this, Jamie. This is this guy's explanation of it.
But that 4.7, I'm sure we're going to find the trillion. Of course, some of that money goes out, and I think if you follow money in the government, it's always more effective and interesting than anything else, right? You always get to the bottom of things by following budgets.
Yeah.
Depending on how it's hidden, right? And so a lot of that money is going to be, perhaps it's in black budgets for who knows, for Defense Department activities. It's worth digging into because it's always fascinating.
So in that, this is a guy that explains it. I'll read this. I hope he's correct. This is a gentleman named House of Carter on X. He said, this isn't a vampire conspiracy. It's just COBOL, C-O-B-O-L. Legacy government systems, especially Social Security, still rely on COBOL, a language designed before anyone thought databases would need to track people beyond 99 years old. The numbers you're laughing at aren't literal ages. They're most likely misinterpreted categorical codes or data artifacts from outdated formatting. Social Security isn't paying 150-year-olds. The system uses fixed width fields, and when modern databases misread them, they mistakenly interpret grouping codes as real ages. This happens when old mainframe logic isn't properly translated into newer systems. So no, there aren't thousands of people over 150 getting checks, but there are a lot of outdated systems that need modernization. Maybe focus on fixing that issue instead of hyping up a non-issue. So there's multiple people that have said the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
This guy says, I'm an old programmer, coder in today's parlance. As many old programmers know COBOL, young coders don't. When Musk claims that Social Security is paying thousands of 150-year-olds, I think someone should let him know that COBOL, in COBOL, if a data is missing, the program defaults to 1875. Example, 2025, 1875 equals 150. So for some reason, if data is missing, the program defaults to this ancient date, and it's just a problem with data.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense than 150-year-olds.
Exactly. But again, so fine. I dig into it, find out, and you know what? If the end result is, you don't have 150-year-old people getting benefits, but the end result is that you modernize the way that we store information, right? Then great. There's a benefit to DOGE right there, right?
Yes.
We've created a more efficient system for tracking and paying out, and good. So
this is the question: like, should there be a law against hiring a bunch of people to pretend that they're regular people and post stuff for you?
Well, I mean,
should there be a law?
Because I guess I have to go over it. Look, I hate dishonest motherfuckers, so my knee-jerk reaction is, of course there should be.
Right.
But I'm sure, like with every goddamn thing, like when I was really for the Patriot Act because I was such a patriot, it turned out it wasn't about patriotism. It was about spying on you.
Right.
I found that this is nothing about a band, but this is something along the lines of what you're saying. Tweet about something like this.
What is it?
So a subreddit called Fed News found that active work or daily activity on their subreddit is high during the middle of the day.
Oh, they're working from
saying,
home? Is that what they're saying?
All my tax dollars paying federal employees to post on Reddit.
Yo, make them come to the
Yeah,
office. You'll fix half of that.
Yeah, there's screenshots from
Federal workers go back. I couldn't see it the way it's. Federal workers posting their strategy to clog up the works in revolt embodies exactly why the U.S. population is so eager to jettison so many of them.
I don't know how true this is, but...
Well, I'm sure it's... Well, there's a lot of people that are complaining about having to go back to work.
The act of simple sabotage. I mean, it's like these people don't need to read it. You lived it yourselves.
Let's go back to that. What is it saying? The act of simple sabotage?
Yeah, you've seen how to, like...
Put it up again?
I don't know where
The CIA has you covered with their Art of Simple Sabotage manual. The main points can also be found here in case you would rather not be accessing a sabotage manual hosted by a spy organization's website when said organization is now part of whatever the hell this administration is.
Oh, they were good before.
To summarize further for anyone too lazy to click either link, organizations and conferences insist on doing everything through channels, never permit shortcuts to be taken in order to expedite decisions, make speeches in quotes, talk as frequently as possible and at great length, illustrate your points in quotes by long anecdotes and accounts of personal experiences. When possible, refer all matters to committees for further study and consideration. Attempt to make the committee as large as possible, never less than 5. Bring up irrelevant issues as frequently as possible. How wild is this? Haggle over precise wording of communications, minutes, resolutions. Refer back to matters decided upon at the last meeting and attempt to reopen the question of the advisability of that decision. This is crazy.
Well, that's an old manual that they're passing around online now. It's been out for a while. And see how it accurately describes everything that's going on around you?
Advocate caution, be reasonable, and urge your fellow conferees to be reasonable and avoid haste, which might result in embarrassment or difficulties later on.
Wait, I thought the Soviets were doing this.
This is so crazy.
Yeah, remember the speech about the Soviets demoralize us?
So what is this
it's
called?
Them, these motherfuckers.
This is like another Reddit post about federal workers or something like that, and that's what I was trying to...
In making work assignments, always sign out the unimportant jobs first. See that important jobs are assigned to inefficient workers.
Oh, but this works really well with the fire department.
This is so crazy.
The LA Fire Department really could use this info.
Is this real?
So I'm gonna try to find
this
out.
is old, though. You didn't know about this?
What is it called again?
It's like a manual to overthrow countries for the CIA.
I'll try to explain.
I understand. Go
This
back.
is
I understand.
comments on a post that someone even commented on another post, and that's what I got to figure out.
Right, but what is it titled when you click on the first one? Yeah, that one.
Supervisor told us to stop posting on Reddit.
The Simple Sabotage Act.
Oh, that's not...
The Art of Simple
the
Sabotage
manual.
manual.
That's part of what they're writing.
But this was the manual.
Yeah.
So what we're reading is straight from the manual.
Yeah.
Maybe that's again. This
The
person
Art of
posted
Simple
it.
Sabotage manual. It seems like a way
That's
to
a real
clog up
thing.
the gears of society. And look, if you're a George Soros type character and you're funding these ultra liberal progressive DAs to leak crime back out onto the streets and be as lenient as possible, like that would be a way to do the same kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
create
it's not
more
just
chaos.
him.
The same thing is keeping the border open. Don't
Yeah.
check no one. Let the gangs in. Have sanctuary cities where you don't even arrest the gangs.
How much do they got to do it on purpose before you figure it out?
Well, it seems so on purpose when Trump cleans it up like that.
That's
And
when you know.
That's when you know. The art of simple sabotage. So this is on the CIA's website. So Jamie, now your computer is fucked. I can't believe you clicked that link, you son of a bitch.
Dude, they tell you this stuff they do all the time. That's the thing. Nothing is classified. I mean, it is, but it's not. They tell you. And
So
then
they
you
were
forget about
teaching
it.
people to do their jobs badly. OSS, it's like when you're on a union job and they're like, hey, slow down.
It's
You're
mafia.
making us
It's
look
all the
bad.
mafia. Everything's mafia. Those are mafia tactics. Rules for Radicals. You ever read that book?
Yes.
Glenn Beck used to bring it up, but the way he made
Yeah.
those people fart a lot in the theater, it was like the end of Dirty Work.
Yeah. This is really interesting. A telephone at the office, hotel, or at telephone switchboards, delay putting calls through, give out wrong numbers, cut people off accidentally, or forget to disconnect them so that the line cannot be used again.
Yeah, we have AI to do that now.
But they were doing this like way back in the day, trying to make things work shitty.
It's demoralizing, isn't
It's
it?
demoralizing, and it keeps people from figuring out that you're doing something.
Yeah, if you live in East Palestine, Ohio, I bet that was pretty demoralizing.
What a fucking bizarre world we live in. This stuff is being revealed now for the first time in mainstream life. Because all throughout history, if you were talking like this, if we were in the 80s and you were talking like this, you were a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, well, here's what's funny. The term conspiracy theory, lest we all forget, came out of Alan Dulles at the CIA after they murdered JFK.
Yeah.
And he told his minions in the press to keep saying conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So that's where we got that from I mean, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, and people didn't want to be labeled a fool, so you didn't want to be labeled a conspiracy theorist, and so it shut down the conversation.
Well, Diddy should tell that to the judge when he goes in on his RICO. Your Honor, this is just a conspiracy theory. How come that's a crime you could be prosecuted for? I call it a collusion theory.
Yeah.
Remember they started saying collusion? Because they burned the word conspiracy. So they had to say Trump, because what you're accusing of is conspiring with Russia. But they had to keep saying collusion because they made that term suck for intel purposes.
Right.
And every time they change the brand name, so UAP, it's because they go in the water. We have to change it. Do you? That's why?